Hello, everybody. It's TELOS Tuesday again, and that means it's time for another episode of the TELOS Keys to Unlock Breakthroughs Every Time You Play. This week's key will help you identify what is keeping you from getting what you want. You ready? Let's go. It's time to dive into TELOS key number 4. Expose the hidden agenda. Okay, now I would like to tell you a story to show you how to expose hidden agendas that block breakthroughs. I was giving a lesson to an 18-year-old young man who plays tournaments in his section, good tournament player. His agenda was to play 2 out of 3 sets in a match-like atmosphere and to become aware of when he would choose the wrong shot. His second agenda item was to identify what parts of his game needed attention for the work during the week ahead. Nice, specific, and prioritized agenda. I brought another junior with me who he didn't know and who was a little younger than him to our lesson. As you can imagine, 2 young men playing 2 out of 3 sets to see who was better brought an atmosphere of tension to the moment. My student got all the way to 2-2 serving, 30-15 before he made a poor shot selection. And as soon as he chose the wrong shot, his shoulders caved in and his head lowered. He looked like the definition of the word defeated. I stopped and asked him why he looked so defeated. And he said, because that was the wrong shot. I said, I know, but wasn't your goal to become aware of when you choose the wrong shot? He said, yeah, with his head still hanging low. My response to his defeated look was, let me tell you the neurochemical reality of the brain and how we learn. When you started this match, you began producing adrenaline. Adrenaline is the chemical of movement and action. Then you set a very specific and prioritized agenda. And that's important because the brain produces a chemical called acetylcholine to mark the spot where learning from your very specific agenda takes place. It'll be processed later when you're sleeping or in a state of deep rest. And then when you successfully realize your specific agenda item, the brain produces dopamine. That's the chemical of reward that makes you feel good and gives you energy. And most importantly, it buffers back the adrenaline. The reason you need to buffer back the adrenaline is because the physiological reality of quitting is when you keep producing adrenaline and don't produce any dopamine to buffer it back. And contrary to what some people might think, there is a great deal of research out there that says quitting isn't a cognitive decision. It's the body shutting down because it needs the dopamine to buffer back the adrenaline, or the brain determines it isn't chemically worth it to continue on. So what you just did was a success. You said you wanted to know when you chose the wrong shot, and you knew it instantly. That's success. But for some reason, you didn't perceive it as a success, and so you didn't get any dopamine. And as the match wears on, and you are going to get closer and closer to giving up because you're producing lots and lots of adrenaline, and you're not producing anything to buffer it back. And that is why at the end of every practice session you have, or every match you play, you look like somebody beat you up. That's why you stopped enjoying tennis last summer and you wanted to quit. I could see what I was saying made sense to him, and that his shoulders were actually beginning to return to form and his head was beginning to raise. And it was at that moment that I said, so let's see if we can figure out what your hidden agenda is. Do you know why you felt so defeated? He said, yeah. Every time I miss, I feel like I failed. Now, I chose not to mention to him at this moment the fact that the number 1 player in the world loses or misses 45% of all the points he plays. But what I did say was, your agenda was to identify when you made the wrong shot. Were you successful? He said, yeah. Yeah, it was. Yeah, that makes sense. And I did know it right away, so I really was successful. Wow, that's amazing. And I could see in that moment that he actually got dopamine. We have to balance the chemicals in our brain in order to optimize our learning, in order to unlock breakthroughs. As I said earlier, my job as a TELOS tennis instructor is to help my students to discover, clarify, and fulfill their agenda. I do that by creating an optimal learning environment. And these 10 TELOS keys are me telling you how you can do exactly that. How you can create an environment that optimizes learning so that you can have breakthroughs every time you play. In my course, Playing TELOS Tennis, I go into what happens when you feel you weren't successful on your agenda. The most important thing for me to be aware of is that if you don't feel successful on your agenda, the reason is almost always because you have a hidden agenda. And this revelation is a great opportunity for you to truly understand the importance of a specific and prioritized agenda as being essential to helping you expose your hidden agenda to the light of day. All right. That's this week's key to unlocking breakthroughs every time you play. Take it out on the court, try it, and then comment and share your experience or your questions. And please make sure to give this video a like if you enjoyed it. And if you aren't yet subscribed, why not? Now is the time. Oh, and if you don't want to miss any new TELOS Tennis videos, click on that notification bell thingy, and I'll see you next time. Until then, enjoy the adventure, and remember, observation without judgment is the key to awareness. And awareness is the key to everything.